Bambi.
Yeah.
Bambi Frazier. Actually, it's a funny story. My mother's name is also Bambi.
I love it.
And so there are no other Bambis, I guess, in the world, right? Just you and my mother?
I love it. I love it. Also, just want to clarify, I like to watch UFC, not participate in UFC. I would run the other way. No, thank you. It's fun to watch, though, for some reason. I don't know why. But I want to say that panel was so cool, so insightful. I will tell you all, before I get into this, I want to share with you one of the ways that I use ChatGPT because of my background, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. One of the side things that I do at the company I work for, which is AMSIV, is I help with doing content briefs, which more or less I basically give the roadmap to our writers for what they need to write. I give them the SEO guidance on it, but I use ChatGPT for those content briefs. But the way I do it, because the way my brain works, is I do the content brief first, and I have it in a spreadsheet with all of the optimization recommendations. But once I'm done, then I go to ChatGPT and I ask the question that this content brief is all about, or I'll put in the title of whatever the story is, and I'll let ChatGPT then tell me, and then I use that as a guide to see what I missed. And I always find something. So I have a separate column for our writers, and I actually have it in red, and it says, this is from ChatGPT. Do not cut and paste. Use this as your guide, right? But that's one of the ways I use it, and it is so insightful and so beneficial. Even if it's something like, because we're a full service marketing agency, I might say the story, I think one of the ones we did recently was like 10 ways to increase your customer engagement at your bank or your credit union, right? I found the 10 ways, but then I went to ChatGPT and I typed that in. They told me a couple of better ways. So we adjusted the piece. Sometimes I think I know everything. So a few little things I just want to put out there before I start. Number one, I am clumsy. I might trip, and apologies in advance if I do. It just is one of those things that happen, and if I just put it out there before I start, I usually don't fall, but the only thing small on me is my ankles, and they like to roll. And I had the nerve to put on a heel this morning trying to be cute. So just want to put that out there. The other thing is, yes, I am from West Virginia. You may have heard the accent. You may have wondered. I get asked immediately all the time. I have lived in Washington, D.C. now for 15 years. And the way I got here is I'm from a small town in West Virginia. It's called Elkins, West Virginia. It's about 7,000 people. Love my little town. The way I explain where it is, it's in the heart of the state, about an hour and a half from WVU. I went to college at West Virginia Wesleyan, 30 minutes from home. Spent too much time at WVU because it's a top 10 party school. But anyway, my senior year in college, I had, for some reason, decided to be responsible and only had 15 credits to get out of the way. But I had all of my requirements done. My major was speech communication. We didn't have journalism at West Virginia Wesleyan because it's such a small school, like not even 1,000 people at the time. Didn't know what I wanted to do, but I did know that they say, do what you love. And I was like, I only like to talk. So I said, well, I'll be a news anchor. I'll get paid to talk. So that's what I decided to do. But my senior year, my advisor called me into the office in college, and she said, you want to do an internship? You got 15 credits to get out of the way. You can either take electives or you can do an internship. And I was like, you're a kid, right? So I'm like, well, I guess I'll do an internship. What? Tell me more. So she said, well, there's this place in DC. It's called the Washington Center, and they place kids at different colleges and different internships around Washington, DC. Lo and behold, my options whittled down to, and it's not because I was brilliant. It was just because, as much as I would like to claim it was on me, but it was just the way the chips fell. I had a choice between CNN, which put us in like a rotational type of internship where you got to go to different departments in news, or the show America's Most Wanted. Date yourself. Who remembers America's Most Wanted? Y'all remember that show? Right. So I was like, I don't know. Guess I'll do America's Most Wanted. And I don't know why I picked that over CNN. You would have thought CNN, but I chose America's Most Wanted. And it actually changed my life. Not because I was doing anything remarkable. I was a grunt. I was a production assistant. And I ended up being a PA after I graduated. I had the opportunity to go back. But I was broke. So I decided to get a job at the Cheesecake Factory, which is about 3 blocks down here in DC, and waited on my now husband. So I served him his meal, and here we are 20 years later, 3 kids. And we moved to Savannah for a year. We moved back to West Virginia after that PA stint was over at America's Most Wanted. I moved back to West Virginia to work at a TV station. It was an NBC affiliate called WBOY TV, making all of $14,500 a year. Broke again, but did that for a year, lived at home, learned how to be a news reporter. We called it a one-man band, carrying around the camera on your shoulder and, filming and car shows, whatever's happening in West Virginia. Not much. But then a year later, my soon-to-be husband found a job. He said, "You want to go to Savannah?" I was like, "Yeah, I guess. Go to Savannah." So worked my way up there to be the morning news anchor. And I did the morning news from 5 a.m., brutal, to 7 a.m. And during that time, just before I started that, had my first daughter. 2 years later, we moved up here, and we lived in just off of U Street, about 10 minutes from here, in his childhood home for about 13 years. And 3 years ago, just left DC and moved into Silver Spring, Maryland. And I can park when I get home now. That's what I know. I can take my groceries in my house as soon as I pull up now because I have a driveway. I didn't realize that was like normal from living in DC for so long. So that's my background. My news background has given me the gift of not only gab, but also the ability to write. I can just write my behind off. Don't ask me to add, subtract, multiply, or divide, but I can certainly write. And after a few years of being a stay-at-home mom with our 3 girls, transitioned into marketing for whatever reason. I didn't want to get back into news. That is a tough career with kids. Wasn't into breaking news when I had babies at home. I didn't want to pack up and leave the babies. So got into marketing and have been blessed with the ability to use my ability to write and talk. And here I am now. So there's my background. Now, real quick, one more thing that I would like to do, and this is probably the most important thing that needs to happen today. Can we take a selfie? I'm just going to do this is my marketing company marketing. All right. Can you guys say DigiMarcon on 3? 1, 2, 3. DigiMarcon. Thank you. That was my head. Let's do one more. 1, 2, 3. DigiMarcon. There you go. Thank you. They said you better take pictures while you're up there. Anybody who ever speaks, it's hard. It's a little awkward. So I figured I would just throw it out there. All right. Local SEO. So one of the things that was just asked you a few minutes ago, are you interested in ranking in Google? Somebody Googles your company, you want to show up, right? Of course you want to show up. That's called search engine optimization. That's how we make it happen. But especially in an area like this or where you're from, if somebody hears of your company, you want to rank on a local level as well. When somebody Googles the name of your business, which is called a branded search, or when they Google the services that you offer, you want to show up. It doesn't matter if you're a nonprofit. It doesn't matter if you're not a coffee shop. What matters is that you are able to show up online for what it is that you do. If you're not, you're missing out on many, many opportunities, whether it's new business, whether it's new relationships, whether it's increased visibility online. Hugely important for you to show up for what it is that you do. That's why we're all here, right? We're marketing. So I call this the secret sauce to ranking online with local SEO. So local SEO is showing up on a local level. So if you have, let's say, a nonprofit here in DC, or there was somebody here yesterday that was, I think it was you. Are you the one with the pet? That's the one. That's the one. Listen, you don't come up here with me and have a seat, right? But so you all have these locations, right? You need the local visibility for the services you offer. But even if you're not a multi-location business like that, even if you're not a franchise, local SEO does benefit businesses like hers most, but you need it if you just have an office. Google allows you to have what is called a Google Business Profile for your business, for your headquarters, or for that single location. If you have more than one location, you can have more than one Google Business Profile. Please don't miss out on that opportunity. And I'm going to show you some of the tips and tricks that I use for my clients. My clients are, we serve clients that are small, medium, and large. They might only have a handful of locations. They might have several hundred locations. And we can use this strategy and scale it to support them to increase their visibility online as best as possible. So let's spill the beans. Oh, another fun fact about me. I'm a twice self-published cookbook author because I like to eat. So I figured why not give this whole thing a little food thing, right? It's one thing we all have in common. We like to eat. How do you rank online for the very services you provide? That's the big question. So when somebody Googles your business, you want to show up there, right? But ranking online isn't so much about the branded keywords. If you're from this area, these are some of the businesses that are local to Washington, D.C., or like we call it the DMV. It's like the cool way of saying D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, if you don't already know. And pizza, local pizza chain we have here. We've got a Target. We have those new little like Targets in the middle of the block here, you know? Like in West Virginia, our Target is, first of all, it's an hour from my hometown, but you know, it's the big giant store. But here we have them like, it's almost like a CVS, right? It's so weird, but it's convenient. But if you want to Google Target near me, Magic Dip Nails, that's not too far from my home in Silver Spring. Gold's Gym Classes, we have a Gold's Gym here. Zips Dry Cleaners. These are branded searches, right? Compass Coffee, that is a local coffee shop that we have here. Good coffee too, by the way, if you happen to see one while you're here. But those are branded searches that you might look for, or that you might type into Google, right? You're using the business name, branded search. But we got bigger fish to fry here when it comes to local SEO, right? We're looking for what is the non-branded searches. So using those same businesses, you might want a pizza Friday night, pizza delivery near me, or dip nails. If you don't know what dip nails are, it's like you dip your nails in powder. They're pretty fabulous. But dip nails near me, local coffee shops in DuPont Circle. DuPont Circle is not so far here. These are the non-branded searches that we want you to show up for. Or think about what your business does, the services you provide. If you're looking for craft beer in downtown DC, eyelash extensions, may or may not have those on. But if you're looking for something like that near U Street, think about the services you provide, and if somebody is searching, those are non-branded searches, kind of like, you know, the meat and potatoes, right? That's what we're looking for when it comes to SEO. So just remember, it doesn't have to be complicated, doesn't have to be a tough nut to crack. It's not hard. Local SEO is simple. Think like breakfast sandwich. It's not hard, right? Roasted chicken. Looks fancy and delicious. One of the easiest things you can make. A latte, pizza, steak, portobello mushroom, whatever it is that you want to prepare, think of SEO or local SEO as a simple dish, something that doesn't have to be difficult. So what is that secret recipe, right? What is it that's going to help you rank in your neighborhood, in your town, in your region, or even in your state? You can use that local factor to help you rank online for the services you provide. So now that I got y'all buttered up, got you interested, we're going to talk about the must-do, no-brainers for local SEO. These are the three things you have to have. There's a lot more to it, but these are the foundations of local SEO. You have to have what is called location pages, meaning if you have a business in a certain area, you have to have a page, in most cases, that is dedicated to that area. So wherever you happen to have the businesses for your locations for the pet business that you have, for canine resorts, canine resorts should have a specific location page for every neighborhood, town, or city that it is located in, right? SEO 101. Or if you don't have a business but you want to rank in a certain area, or if you don't have a brick and mortar, but you want to rank in a specific area for that brick and mortar business, you can have what is called service area pages. That helps Google to understand the area that you are targeting for the services that you provide. So, location pages. Again, Google uses those to understand what it is that you do and where it is that you do it. If it's not location pages, I'll say this again, if you don't have a brick and mortar there, you can use what is called service area pages. You use that to target a specific region to help Google understand, hey, this is where we provide services, even though we don't have an actual brick and mortar location there. These pages, what should they have? Your NAP, business name, business address, business phone number, right? Your operating hours. You want to have that on your location pages. But this is the third one there. This is the most important one. A lot of my clients come to us and they say, oh, we have location pages. It's fine. No big deal. But they more or less cut and pasted everything on that location page except for the name, address, and phone number and the operating hours. They don't have anything else unique on that page, giving Google no reason to care to rank that business, because Google is using it's websites, right? You got to find different ways to diversify the content on these location or service area pages to help Google understand, hey, business is here and this is what this business does, and we want to rank it because we want to make sure that what we are serving up in the search results is valuable to the user. So the way we diversify content on our location pages or on our service area pages is we use what I like to call hyperlocal content. We talk about surrounding areas, parking information that's available, cross streets, nearby landmarks, anything that helps make that content unique, that is unique to the business. We like to add that to the location pages. This is why it matters for local SEO. And I'm using this is and Pizza. This is one of their actual location pages, not too far from here on historic U Street in Washington, D.C. And I believe it's on, I want to say it's either on 14th and U or 15th and U. It's pretty good pizza though. And it comes in like a little rectangle box. I think they have them. There's a few different ones now in other larger cities. But I use this so you can see how location pages work and how Google uses them. So for this location specifically, U Street, Google uses this location page because we plug it into the Google business profile that has been built for this specific business. We plug it into the website field and Google goes, oh, and it makes that connection between the two, right? So we take what's on this page. You can see the little arrow there. It has the hyperlocal content. It has the location specific services, and it has all those additional details for that branch or for that store or for that location that tell us everything we need to know. That is then plugged into this website field of the Google business profile, and Google makes that connection, right? A lot of my clients come to me and they do have the website plugged into the website field, but it's not the location page or it's not that service area page. So it's almost like they're doing a little bit, but not nearly enough. And then they're getting crushed by their competitors. So that's the first thing I look for. Even when we're prospecting clients, I say, I'll look on their Google business profile and I'll say, oh, that location page isn't plugged in there. And we plug it in there and we use these strategies for the hyperlocal content and their visibility. It's not overnight. We like to say that SEO is a marathon. It's not a sprint, but it does grow. And it is a lovely thing to see. And then we all look like heroes. So they might say, but we have location pages. So I say, don't cry over spilled milk. Not a big deal. Here's what you need to do to make that work. Again, this is that hyperlocal content that we're talking about. This is the game changer when it comes to businesses that want to rank online for the services they provide. You have to add that super detailed, super hyperlocal content. The benefit is severalfold, but I'll tell you, not only is it more beneficial to the user because we want to create a good UX, good user experience, right? But Google uses that as well. So you're kind of doubling down on your efforts there to win in terms of local visibility. These are all the details. I mentioned some of them verbally, but this is really it. Somebody on my team was like, don't tell everything we do. I was like, well, this is what we do. This is how we do it, and that's what this is about, right? So we use location-specific keywords. We mirror this with what's in the Google Business Profile. It doubles down on the opportunity to be visible for the services you provide. We do internal linking on those pages. So when I say internal linking, I mean, when you're reading something and you can click on a link and it'll take you somewhere else. We want to take you somewhere else on the website. External website's fine, but we also want to take you to a service you provide, right? So you're talking about like the pet hotels. If you also do dog washing, right, then you want to have a service that says dog washing. You want to link to that page from the location page as well. Easy peasy. If there's awards, these are the different ways that you can diversify the content on the page from location to location. If you're doing a specific location, if you have other surrounding areas that you serve, frequently asked questions. By the way, if you're into technical SEO, you can add what's called FAQ schema to frequently asked questions as well. Directions, you can embed a Google map, customer testimonials about that specific location. You can plug in a review feed from Google Business Profile for that specific location to pull in those GBP reviews that talk specifically about the services at that location. This is AMSIV's hyper-local approach. Take the picture now if you want it, because I'm going to go right on past it here in a second. Just kidding. You'll have access to all this. But this is truly exactly what we do for our clients. We gather this content. Well, I'm just going to show you the next slide. This is how we know this approach works. We have a client that is in the finance space, or as my client who is located in the deep South in Mississippi, he says, finance. That's how we're in the finance space. But we took that hyperlocal approach. I'll sneak it in there again. We added unique content to the page using these different hyperlocal elements. And this is what happened. They had, over the course of 2 months, we watched their traffic just go up to the pages. Listen, I know I'm good at what I do, but we were shocked when we saw 510%. Bowled over. 510% increase in clicks to their location pages and a 418% increase in impressions. Who knows what impressions means here? Can you raise your hand if you know what impressions mean? Okay. Impressions are when you Google something, what shows up in the search results. Those are impressions. Prior to adding this hyperlocal content to those location pages, they didn't have those impressions, and they were now much more visible online. So we were able to say, look, this is what's happening because we added that hyperlocal content to your pages. We were shocked. We knew it was going to be good. We didn't know it was going to be that good. And it's still climbing. It takes time, but it's climbing. This was over, like I said, the course of 2 months. 1 month, it was a 90% increase in clicks. So these were the keywords that they showed up online. When it comes to SEO, remember I showed you a little earlier the non-branded keywords? So craft beer near me. Let's just pretend like we're doing local SEO for a local bar. I want them to show up. They might say, we want to sell more craft beer, right? I would make craft beer one of my targeted keywords. I would add that to my location pages. I would add that to their Google Business Profile. Remember I said doubling down on the effort. Their visibility for specific non-branded keywords increased tremendously after we added the hyperlocal content to those pages. We did it in February, and in April, that was the increase you saw there. Also, you see at the top of that, see the little green line? That green line indicates what is called SERP features. SERP is an acronym for search engine results page. That's that page with all those links that you see after you Google something. There is now, you'll notice, especially, you'll notice it on mobile, but you'll see it when you're on your laptop or any other desktop. You'll see different features above the search results. So you might see an image, you might see a list, you might see a small paragraph there. Then you'll see sponsored, you'll see like the ads, and a local search after that, you'll see the map. And then after that, then you'll see those impressions with like the 10 blue links, right? They were showing up a heck of a lot more after we added that location page content. Again, I'm going to reiterate, even if you don't have a brick and mortar business, it doesn't have to be just a local based business. If you have a business, you have an office or a headquarters that you work out of, you can have a Google business profile, and this can help increase your online visibility for the services you provide. All right, reviews. How many of you, before you purchase something, look at the reviews? Right. Now, what I want to know, are you looking at the content in the review? Raise your hand if you actually read the content. How many of you are just looking at the star rating? All right, so we've got a little bit going on here. So I kind of do everything, and I guess it's because of what I do. I like to see what people, especially on Amazon, right? Amazon's the best one. My kids will get something, and I'll say, "Did you check the reviews? What the reviews say?" "Mommy, it's a 4." And I'm like, "Okay, fine." All right, so here's how reviews impact your ranking on Google. Google uses reviews to show you search results, especially for local businesses. So these are the 4 ways. This is like the review recipe, right? The number of reviews that a business has. Do they have 2 reviews, or do they have 2,000 reviews? Or do they have 200 reviews, right? Typically, you'll see businesses with more reviews show. But then there's also the star rating. Do they have 2 reviews and a 3.2 star rating, or do they have 200 reviews and a 4.5 star rating? You're going to see the ones that are higher up there for that. The quality of the review. Let me tell you something. If you want to help a business rank higher online, leave a review that has a keyword in it. I'm telling you. So let's say the bar, craft beer. If I want my business to rank higher for craft beer, I'm going to say to people, "Hey, how do you like that craft beer? Why don't you leave us a review about what you think about it?" And if they put craft beer, best craft beer in DC, in their review, they will inevitably show up in the search results higher for that specific search because that review contained a keyword. Now, here's the thing. Works the other way around too. So if you have a horrible experience at a business, somebody throw something out there. What's something you Googled lately for a local business? Anybody? I'll throw it out there. Say it. Happy hour. Okay. If you go somewhere and it is just an awful happy hour experience, and it's gross, tables are sticky. I hate a sticky table. Anyway, if you put in there, don't go here for happy hour. It's a terrible happy hour. Go down the street to so-and-so. Don't come here. That business will not rank for best happy hour in DC. Or even if it does, that bad review will stick to the top of their Google business profile because you specifically put in a search with that keyword. And this is if somebody Googles, if that's what their keyword is in their query, we like to call it, right? So that's the quality of the review. It could be good quality, bad quality. Either way, it impacts rankings. Also, if you want to help a business rank higher, don't not only or include the keyword, right, for what it is that you want them to rank higher for. So if it's the best pizza I've ever had in my life, right? Take a picture of it. Add a picture. That will make that review carry more weight in terms of ranking. Or a video. What that does is not only does it help them rank, but it also creates engagement for people like us that are looking for those reviews, right? So that's review quality. And then the review recency. Google is using how recent those new reviews are coming in to understand. So did you get a review for your business 3 months ago, or did you get a review yesterday? Review recency also plays a factor in how reviews impact your rankings. So if you want to get more reviews for your business, season it up a little bit. We like to call it the seasoned approach. The different ways you can get reviews. QR codes. You can email them. You can have them below your signature. You can text them. You can have a sign printed at the door. You can have a sign printed at the checkout. I recommend you do that when people come and pick up their dog from the business. Yeah. I'm shocked. I'm just kidding. Yeah, dude, I would love to chat with you afterward. That'd be great. But QR code's huge for sourcing more reviews. Ask. You have to ask for people. Aren't just going to give you a review. Say, what did you think about that? You want to leave us a review to tell us about your experience? Fun fact, don't ask the people that aren't very happy with their experience. ask the happy people to leave you a review. Text messaging, like I said, and then email campaigns. These are the ways that we encourage our clients to get more reviews. And it too has beautiful, beautiful impacts. This is what happened with QR codes. This was another, this is another finance company. When we first started, they had 25 reviews. Right? So we said, let's do review generation. We actually printed out, we used Bitly to generate these QR codes. The reason we chose Bitly, by the way, is because you can track the scans. So we were able to go to this client and say, you need to get your people at this branch need to ask for more reviews if they want to increase the visibility for those services. They're not asking. And we could tell because they didn't have very many scans. But boy, 30 days later, 466 reviews they had 30 days later. They went from 25 and they shot up. And then their star rating went up too, because they were trained to not only ask, but to ask their happy customers. Directly impacts your rankings, and heavily. Review generation, we did it with text messaging as well. Text messaging is quite affordable if that's something that you want to look into. We were kind of surprised at how inexpensive it was too, and our clients said, no brainer. We're going to do text messaging review generation. And this is what happened. We did it in the same period. So this was a 2-month difference. So their review rating wasn't super low. They already had a 4.6, but they only had 20 reviews. We did the text messaging, and they ended up with 531 reviews as a result of text messaging. This one was a little trickier because we couldn't share. You can't cherry pick like the happy people like you can. But typically, when you're doing review generation and you share that, you say, hey, we're doing review generation, magically customer service improves, right? And that's what happened here. So they did bump up their star rating to 4.9. New reviews were coming in, so we checked the box of recency. Quality of the reviews was better. And then obviously the star rating went up 0.3 stars. So 4.6 to 4.9, not a huge difference. But what happens is they creep their way up in the visibility online as a result of review generation. All right. GBP. I just realized it says GPB. Google Business Profile is what it is. So that's what we're going to talk about here. Your business, when you build this for your business, you will have, if you don't have it already, and if you do have it, I want you to go back and I want you to check the category that you have selected for your Google Business Profile. You can add up to 10 categories as long as they apply to your business, right? A lot of business. This is the one that I have, by the way, for AMSIV. We have selected marketing agency as our primary category. Our headquarters are in New York. But you better believe I have 9 more in there. You just can't see them. But Google uses those to understand what it is we do. We have a print facility, so I have print facility on there. We also why marketing is a category and also advertising agency. I mean, whatever. I have advertising agency as well. What's important to understand about the category that you have selected in Google Business Profile is the primary category that you have chosen, which for us, it's marketing agency. That's the one that carries the most weight in terms of ranking potential online. The other 9 are what is called your secondary categories, equal in weight in terms of how it impacts your online visibility, but don't just choose one. For our companies that were in that finance space that we were talking about, they only had one at one point. We went in and we added all the others. A lot of times I'll find that like credit unions and banks, they will only have bank or ATM or bank and ATM, but they don't have mortgage lender on there. So if someone's searching like mortgage lender near me, the likelihood of them showing up is slim to none. So I'm like, checking accounts is another one, savings accounts is another one. I'm like, you guys can have all of these things on there. So if it's a service that you provide, search in the categories, buy that service, and you may or may not see that that's an additional category that you can add on your Google Business Profile. Questions and answers. If you have a Google Business Profile, or when you build the Google Business Profile, please scroll down in the front-facing side of the Google Business Profile, meaning in where the search results are. There is a little section in there that says questions and answers. It's a blue link, and it's in 99% of the Google Business Profiles that I optimize for my clients. Most of my clients don't even know this section exists. And this is just some screenshots of, this was a bank that we did a pitch for. These were the questions in there, and they had no idea that they were in the Google Business Profile. Please look and see if you have engagement on there. When you answer the question, it will show up as being answered by the business. Crazy thing is that anyone can ask a question, that anyone can answer it. So you've got Joe Schmo that's answering questions on behalf of your business. Not a good look, especially when it comes to, say you got your dog that you got to take to a pet hotel. You don't want somebody else answering. This is somebody's son or daughter, right? My dog's my son. I don't know what you got. I don't know how y'all look at your animals, but super important to have that engagement on behalf of the business and not random people in the public, right? So please, when you build your Google Business Profile, whether you're a nonprofit, whether you have 30 businesses or 30 locations, or whether you have 200, please maintain that question and answer section. There is a notification setting where Google will email you when a question is asked. If you have that turned off, you can turn it on, or you can just make it a habit to go in there and check pretty regularly, right? Once a month, set yourself. I have a sauna. I don't know if that's what everybody else uses, but I love a recurring task, right? So I'll just make it recurring in there, and that's my little reminder, right? To make sure that I do something and it doesn't fall off my radar, because it will fall off my radar. Q&As, they impact your reputation, engagement, and they can obviously increase clicks through to your website, and then also conversions. Conversions, aka whether or not somebody becomes a paying customer. Products and posts. These are also in your Google Business Profile. This is what it looks like on the AMSIV profile. You can look at it yourself later. You can Google AMSIV New York, and you can actually see this section in there. My team built this for AMSIV. A lot of people think that products have to be something tangible. That's probably what Google meant too, but we kind of figured out that we could put our services in there. It's another way to diversify our profile, to put loud and clear with custom graphics. This is what we do here at AMSIV. These are some of the things that we do. The things that your business does, you can build out your Google Business Profile and have your services loud and clear. And then there's also something called posts, right? Posts are another way to engage. Do these increase your rankings online? No. But is it a way to diversify your Google Business Profile, to create engagement and usher people to your website so they can pay you? Of course it is, right? This right here, this is AMSIV Google Business Profile. Again, if you Google AMSIV New York, you will see these sections on there. This is what my team does for our company, and this is what we do for our clients as well. The cool thing is, there is a link. When you click in to these images, there's a little link there. Let's see, you can see learn more at the bottom there. You click in, we add what is called a UTM on there, and it's a tracking code. Like I see y'all nodding your head back there. I love when someone knows a UTM. Do I know what UTM stands for? No. But I do know that it's a tracking code that shows up in Google Analytics, and then we can report on traffic from that post to the website to see where the engagement comes in. Products and posts, I said don't impact rankings, but they do increase engagement on your Google Business Profile. That's what Google wants to see, and it drives traffic to your website, and we want to get those paying customers. So that's what these little features in Google Business Profile do. So the takeaway here, treat your Google Business Profile and your location pages or your service area pages like two peas in a pod. Treat them like twins, have them mirror one another. So what's the takeaway? Let's do a quick little recap. Location pages. This is one of the most effective ways for your business to rank online and for anything near me. I know y'all have Googled near me, pizza near me, best Chinese restaurant near me. You have, right? This is one of the best ways that you can show up, is those location pages for near me searches. Whoops. Through it a little too fast. Valuable information, obviously name, address, phone number, hours is super valuable. Reviews are super valuable, but you have to understand that Google uses those location pages to understand what it is that you do and where you do it. Location pages for brick and mortar businesses, or service area pages if you don't have brick and mortar, but you offer services in a certain area. That's your takeaway on location pages. Reviews. Reviews impact rankings in 4 ways. Star rating, number of reviews, review recency, and the quality of the review. Remember, quality of review is if you want to put an image with it, if you have a keyword-rich review, detailed content, that's your review quality. Those are the 4 ways. Reviews can influence click-through rates, taking someone right to your website, and they do also create that opportunity to engage. We are all looking at reviews online. We've already established that engagement will increase online for your business the more reviews you bring in. Google Business Profile optimizations. You optimize your Google Business Profile properly, you're inevitably going to rank higher in search, especially in combination with those other things. Don't you want to beat your competitors at what they're doing? Optimizing your Google Business Profile will help you beat your competitors, and you will show up higher for those more valuable keywords in search that help your business rank higher online. So don't be intimidated when it comes to local SEO. Even though there are little nooks and crannies, little bits and pieces, little crumbs when it comes to SEO, don't be intimidated by it. I can promise you it's an absolute piece of cake. I love cake. That's why I put that in there. So let's get cooking. If anybody has any questions about local SEO or you want to learn more about local SEO, please take a moment to scan that QR code. That is my email address. I check my own email every day, just like you do. So please don't hesitate to reach out. And even if it's not local SEO, SEO. We're friends here now. I am now your resource when it comes to local SEO or SEO and online visibility. So let's get it done. Does anybody, question.
You know who I am and who I'm with. So I do have a question. We do have local pages for each one of our resorts. And most recently, we've come into an issue where somebody's not really ranking they want to rank. And the introduction of service pages has been a topic. Can you go into the differences between location pages and service pages and how they play together?
What I would do for you, do you have a brick and mortar location for every one of your
Yes.
businesses? Okay.
Yeah.
What I would do for you is on those, you don't need service area pages and location pages for your business because you have the location pages already. On that location page, I would add in your service areas. And then on Google Business Profile, there's also a section that says service areas. You can fill that out as well, right? So you can put in counties or you can put in towns. Every now and then Google likes to be shady and they like to remove them and it drives me nuts. But enter in your service areas in that section and then you can create content around that section as well. Do that internal linking on your site, on your location pages to the content that speaks to the locations or the services you provide in that area. But I would list the service areas on the location pages. Also make sure you have them listed on Google Business Profile.
And how do you also get around, how do you get around that too when I'm a franchise. So
Yep.
Each one of our local pages mimics our national page, but then has the location name within the local pages. So how do you keep it consistent while still doing the hyper local information?
When you say keep it consistent, tell me what you mean by that.
So when you go to any homepage for Canine Resorts /Audubon, that's probably the one that's closest to me right now. If you go in there, we have everything about our services. The wireframe is consistent across any canine resorts. I'm just wondering where you would put your local hyper content or your hyper local content. Is it right on the home page of the local page? Is it an unindexed page? Is it?
Don't unindex it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs to be indexed. Indexing, for anyone that doesn't know, that means imagine you walk into a library and you see a book on a shelf. That is Google's version of indexing. It is there and it is available. If you unindex it, Google's not going to, you're telling Google, hey, I don't want this to rank, right? So make sure it's indexed. The placement of the content on the page, we personally like it to be a little higher on the page, just so it's there. There's a lot of discussion that the lower it is, the more buried something is on the page, the less valuable it is. I would keep it up a little higher, or even if it's directly under, name, address, and phone number and hours, but I wouldn't have it completely buried at the bottom of the page. I'd move it up a little higher. Choose for information.
I have a question. So it was a few years ago, Google was actually sending businesses like these little transponders. And I can't find where that's actually still a thing, but it was specifically for people riding by and they put in near me for your business to pop up at the top of the search. Is that still a thing?
You sure that was Google?
Yes.
Never heard of it.
Oh.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, they
That is-
had this
that
whole
is-
program where they mailed businesses this transponder for you to install in your
To
business.
show up higher and search?
when somebody clicks near me.
I think you have to prove your location. You have
I-
to prove your business is where you said it was.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
That is not a part of local SEO, at least in terms of how we support businesses. I will tell you, the way Google is doing what is called verifying a business now. Did you guys do the postcard thing? Like the postcard verification? The video is where it's at now. And it's a little bit of a pain, but video verification is how now, for the most part, they're verifying the existence of a business. I do have a higher ed client that is allowing me to help them verify their department listings by phone. And that's a little bit of a process to get somebody to answer at the library and understand. Please write down that verification code for me. I got a call tomorrow, actually, to get that done. But to my knowledge, I hate to stand up here and say, I don't know about that one. But to my knowledge, what I do know is that verifying a business through Google has to be done through the Google Business Profile right now. As far as the beacon goes, not a part of what we learn in our communications with Google. I communicate with Google support regularly. If you've ever done it, I'm sure you don't love it. It's such a pain. I kind of like it. I don't know why, but I don't know. I think I like to help my clients that way, to show up, so they don't have to be bothered with it. So I do it. Google support is kind of a pain, but that is one of the things about ranking online is sometimes you have to deal with Google support. Any other questions?
Hi, so I'm with IEEE USA. I spoke a little yesterday, but we're kind of odd because we're a subset of a larger technical organization, and we are located in DC, but we serve the entire US membership. Anyone who's a member of IEEE who lives in the US should come to us for support or things like that. So is there a way to optimize your appearance in the search just for anyone in the US who even Googles just IEEE as opposed to IEEE USA?
You could do, if you want to do specific areas, you could do what is called state pages, which is kind of like service area pages. But the content on all 50 of those state pages has to be unique, right? So that's one of the ways that you can do it. But also make sure that you have, since you're located here in DC, you have an office here in DC, I assume. Make sure you have that Google Business Profile for that office. Okay? You can do that. Yeah. There are different links that you can add to your Google Business Profile that can pull in the shopping experience. I don't have the e-com clients that do that. Mine are mostly brick and mortars, but there are different ways that you can pull in the Google shopping experience. I love a good oven. Yeah, nice. Yeah, you can pull it. Do you have them listed online? I mean, I will say Google does love transparency, which is tough because you also don't want to drive people away when they see you don't want them to get sticker shock. That might be what you have to do with the Google shopping experience. You may need to. Google's all. And listen, Google also needs to practice what it preaches. But as far as what we do, full transparency. That's always the way that we recommend. But that's worth a deeper discussion, what you guys are doing, I think. Yeah, for sure. Sure.
Video into your SEO strategy?
Yes.
Can you talk about that quickly?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So
Thank you.
here's what we're doing now. We actually just did pull the data for that we have that they're Medicare, and they have these YouTube videos that they're really cute videos, like breaking down Medicare Part A and Medigap plans and all that good stuff. And they just casually mentioned it on a call. And I said, why don't y'all optimize your YouTube videos? And they were like, well, how do you do that? Well, I only know how to do it because I had a YouTube channel that I haven't posted on in quite a while, but just cooking stuff. So I said, well, I'll optimize them for you. So anyway, we had to adjust the scope a little bit, but we optimized their YouTube videos and have plugged those YouTube videos into the related content on their website. You got to remember, YouTube is the second largest search engine. Next to who? Google, right? Google, YouTube is its own search engine. When we do keyword research on for YouTube videos, does anyone in here ever use Ahrefs or Ahrefs? You hear different ways. You can search for keywords specifically on, you can do keyword research on Ahrefs specifically for YouTube. I would plug in that YouTube link to the related content. Optimize the YouTube video and make sure what's in that YouTube video, make sure the keywords are similar to the content on the page, kind of that two peas in a pod, like mirrored strategy. Drop in that YouTube link on the back end. If it's a WordPress site, you just drop in the link to the body section of WordPress, and then it'll show the entire video in the front facing side of the content. It's good stuff. Yeah. Any other questions?
Right.
All right. One more. Last question.
What's your, I guess, insight on review response? So something we always tell our schools is that you should respond to a Google review within 24 to 48 hours. How do you think that actually affects like SEO?
I can tell you exactly how. Review responses do not impact your rankings, but it's reputation, right? It can increase your click-through rates, your engagement there, the trust factor, which is hugely important. It doesn't necessarily have to be 24 to 48 hours. I mean, I would say I'd give it a week. If you wanted to give it 2 weeks, it's fine. I would just make sure the responses are unique, not cut and paste. Thank you for leaving us a review. We hope to see you soon. And then Betty leaves a review. Thank you for the review. We hope to see you. No, you don't want that. It depends on if you're using a project management tool. A lot of the project management tools are now allowing an AI response. We have learned if there's any takeaway, AI needs that human element. I would never just let AI do my review responses and not give it my eyeballs, right? It's great for efficiencies, but it could be wrong, right? So you can either use a project management tool that does the responses faster for you, and then you look at each one before they post, or I know the tool we use has canned responses where we customize it and we can pick. And we have like 10 for every like 5-star review, we have 10 different responses that you can give and so on. So it doesn't impact your rankings though. The review itself does, but not your response.
Like if you use keywords in your response, does
Nope.
that still? No. So it's
Keywords will impact if for the person that left the review, but not in your response. All right. We're going to wrap it up. If anybody has any questions, please track me down. I would love to chat more about local SEO or UFC fights. Thank you.